Marathi cinema, Gujarati cinema, and Punjabi cinema, which is also working. But here, specifically, I would like to say in South, especially the South Indian language movies are really rocking at the worldwide box office. As just now, I think the box office numbers for superstar Rajnikant's Jailer will be touching 1 million US dollars. That is something, unheard of. And the release is still, let's say, 48 hours a day. Still, this is the kind of rage or the craze that there is there for South Indian movies on a global level. And much before that, I would say Mr. Rajamouli's Bahubali 1 and especially Bahubali 2 set the race, I would say. Then there was KGF and KGF 2, and then there was a plethora of South Indian movies which became pan-India films and did sensational business all over the globe. And today, I think we are reached a place where, there's a lot of aspect, there's a lot of, hype regarding South Indian movies. And let's just take a look at the way South Indian movies have been projected. And today, theaters all over India are falling over each other in programming South Indian movies. Especially in northern Indian states, they have, thrown thought. And this year, for example, I'm also happy that the Hindi cinema has made a strong comeback with Pathan doing extraordinary business, and now Rocky or Rani also doing equally well. So let's throw open this. I would first like to ask Joyson his viewpoint on the South Indian cinema as such and the collections.
Good evening all. See, my point of view, almost a decade I think so, South films have been like bent throughout in the industry, especially in the Bollywood market actually. Mainly my point of view, the revenue point of view, in the remake as well as in dubbing. Phenomenal numbers have gone and it has touched also. And recently the rise of Kannada movies and good Malayalam movies performing in the north and in all the states. That's a very good benchmark.
Mr. Saurabh, you have been covering and you're a veteran. How do you see the inflow of South Indian movies which have captured, the imagination of the nation?
So I think first and foremost, I just like to say that I come all the way from Mumbai, and it's a phenomenal job, Cine Expo. I think a big cheer to the whole team. They've done a phenomenal job. Michelle and Raghav, everybody, great job. Just want to say that. I may not get the chance. Coming to the regional side, so it's very difficult to say South Indian films because every region has done phenomenally well. When we sit in Mumbai or when we look at North, when we talk about Malayalam cinema, there is certain respect. When you talk about Tamil, when you talk about Telugu, so we also have started dividing the kind of content they are bringing, and everybody of them are rocking. So if today you say that a Jailer has done a phenomenal business in US, it doesn't surprise us because South is rocking all of us. So in North, it has opened up, and it has opened up big time, as you say, after Bahubali. I think the credit also goes to the fact that, the world has opened globally. So there was a time when you used to, go and seek films outside, but today a content like Narcos, and when you watch it, you don't remember the language. You don't remember what language you saw it. So the language barometer is shrinking. People are not differentiating content just because the language is something you don't understand. People are accepting subtitles. The digital YouTube penetration of South Indian films, all that has opened the market. And in my mind, this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just going to explode more.
So quick, what do you see about it?
For South Indian movie, first of all, I would like to thank that I'm really honored to be a part of this. Thank you, Cine Expo. And secondly, yes, South Indian movies are really doing good. Especially, I'm coming from West Bengal. In that kind of a region, it is really doing good. Initially, we had to find certain people, but right now, people are coming to watch the movies. And especially right now, when the South Indian movies are coming in dub version, they are really doing good in our area also.
Mukesh, what is the reason why South Indian films have become pan? Today, I think you are going to distribute King of Kota in Andhra and Telangana. But it's basically a Malayalam. But it is also going to have an opening in northern Indian states. So what are your viewpoints? How did this happen?
Good evening to all the friends out over here, and big thanks to Cine Expo for putting us on this panel. I think, Sreedhar, the biggest advantage, maybe we could thank COVID, could be one of the reasons where, people across the country had access to watching other language movies, and they realized that other language movies or regional movies were having content which was, even to their liking. And I think after Bahubali, Pushpa was really the first pan-Indian film which set the ball rolling, because right across from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, that film had phenomenal footfalls, including Nepal also, where Nepal also the film was a very big hit. Pushpa set the ball rolling, and then a small film called Kanta from Kannada, which also, went on performing well. It started slowly. And there was a film called Charlie 777, which also brought the audiences into the theatre. So once people started seeing those movies, they found that they were able to connect with those movies. And unfortunately, at that point of time, the Hindi films just did not live up to their expectations. So people started, trying out these regional films, and they started doing well. Now, day is not far off where people will start. Now, King of Kota is the first Malayalam film which is going to be a pan-India release, because the film is going to release in Tamil, Telugu, Hindi and Malayalam. And all these versions are going to release simultaneously on the same day. So this will be the first Malayalam film which will have a pan-Indian release in all these languages. So I think the future is very bright, and there are only more films which are going to follow this path.
Saurabh, you have one?
I'd just like to add to all this that the way South is penetrating in the northern belt and the western side as well. A lot of weight also goes to the way they market the films. So there are some films, it's very easy to make a film and say it's pan-India, you could just, dub it in certain language and do it. But there are a lot of examples of films which have, really packaged it. And the biggest thing which I would want to also say is that, the content may be the same. Maybe the language will change in the dubbing, but the way they package it makes it a difference. So you can't have the same marketing strategy for Chennai vis-a-vis a Mumbai or a Delhi. So a lot of strategies on that aspect have also contributed to the success. And I've listened to producers who listen like a student and say, okay, what do we do in Mumbai? What do we do to penetrate more? So that deliberate effort is also added to the value.
Kunal ji, would you say, how has this South Indian movies, made footprints in northern Indian markets? You know the northern Indian markets very well. And how do you see, what is the thing? Is it the content? Is it the star? What is it that brings the audience? I'm talking about an audiences in northern India, means Uttar Pradesh or Rajasthan.
Good evening, all. So I like to start from where Mukesh said. I strongly believe that the people tastes in what happened in COVID. We were forced inside our room, and there was only OTT or on the YouTube with the movies was available. So that is exactly where all of us were exposed to different languages. I can claim it as regional, which also includes all different languages internationally also, like Japanese, Korean, Chinese. Definitely, yes, South Indian is a very, very big, because it consists of 4 different languages comes together. All regional movies were absorbed. One is content was absorbed by these people. That is where they started to understand what are those actors. So even a B actor or a not so popular actor was, they have seen that in OTT, and when this actor's movie released, that is where they could realize that this is the movie which I have seen and I like to go to this particular actor's movie. Now, adding on to it, people have also used to watching different languages movies in subtitles. So coming to your question, all different languages movies, because of internet and so much of details available, people are aware which movie is releasing where. Rightly said by Saurabh also, marketing. I remember when KGF 2 was released in North India, more than Yash, it was Sanjay Dutt's poster which was there. So that is where they are also wants to make a pan-India movie. You take up example of Tripura or KGF, all had that mixed culture which was an actor from different state and made from a different state to give that feel of an pan-India movie. So people are aware what movies are coming in, and they are exposed to these languages also in dubbed as well as local languages with subtitles.
Question to Joyson is that how do you see the audience coming in for a typical Tamil film like you? You must be having a phenomenal booking for jailer. Like that is, what is the reason for that? Is it because of the staff?
Jailer means like we need to talk long, but let
How is it because of Mr. Rajnikant, larger than life star with his...
See, it is superstar. Then as Mr. Saurabh told, no, when we choose a movie, it should be a package and the star cast. Because of the huge star cast, the movie has so much of hype.
So, Saurabh, my question to you is that, before the pandemic, none of these actors, maybe Prabhas or Yash, maybe yes, were popular in the northern Indian belt. Today you have NTR, Ramcharan, you have all these people, really competing with the A-listers in Bollywood. What is the reason how a person in Rajasthan or maybe, Pradesh, or where they're only Hindi cinema, hardcore Hindi cinema, runs. How is that these kind of South Indian, pan-Indian movies, penetrated down to these markets?
So I think it's a very simple but a very commendable reason why this happens. And that reason is that South celebrates cinemas. They celebrate talent. They celebrate their heroes. They celebrate their directors. Today, Rajamouli was a brand in South India. But when any Rajamouli film, even if it's called X or Y or Z, if it comes to Delhi or Rajasthan, they already know about it because Rajamouli has become a brand. And I think the credit goes to the fact that we, in Chennai, in Hyderabad, in Kerala, everywhere you celebrate cinema. And that passion, and compare it to any other business. If you are a chef and you're in a restaurant, but you make that food with passion, that, audience is going to, customer is going to come again and again because the way you, cook that food. So the kind of passion this region has, this entire region has, I think it's unparalleled in the world. It's not just in India. You can't find that passion anywhere.
Satadeep, the idea is that, our dub films have done well. From South India, they have done well. But it was initially through the Hindi channels, that is Hindi music channels during the pandemic. A lot of people were exposed to these heroes and other people. Do you think because of that the channels also played an important role because South Indian films were dubbed into Hindi and shown and Bhojpuri, and it became popular? Do you see that as one of the reasons, or do you also feel that now South Indian heroes are accepted in the Northern Indian belt?
Yes, absolutely true. But we have to think that the South Indian movies are dubbed in Setmax or this kind of channels for a long time. So the acceptance from the people are from long time. But the theaters were not screening the dub version. But from Bahubali onwards, the dub version came and it made a fantastic business throughout India. So it showed the line to others to dub their movies into Hindi and release it in Pan India. So right now, maximum of the movies are coming in Pan India, and I'm sure in future also, day by day it goes. Most of the movies will be coming in Hindi also, and in other languages also. It can be a day when a South Indian movie has been dubbed in Bengali also. So,
Mukesh,
This should be tried. I mean, you should dub it in a Bengali language and give it a shot. Also, other thing is that sometimes, the quality of dubbing also matters. Whether it's Shreyas Talpade for Pushpa or whether it's Sharad Kelkar for Bahubali, the kind of, localization they did for the content, that really works. So, packaging it right also makes sense.
okay. Mukesh, why is it, before the pandemic, a lot of Hindi films had the best collection in Chennai city, and Bangalore was very good for Hindi cinema. But of late, after these pan-India, the rise of the pan-India stars, if we can put it, Hindi cinema being dubbed into local language, that is Tamil and Telugu, they are being dubbed in. What do you see this? I mean, what is the reason for that?
My honest answer would be that the Hindi producer lost out on what they wanted to make, whether they wanted to make a movie for the theatre going audience or they were wanting to make it for the OTT audience. Because what happened is, because they were first trying to cover the risk of their production, by selling the OTT and the satellite rights. And if they were safe, they were not bothered whether the film ran in the theatre or not. Earlier, film business was only for the theatre going audience. It was never for the OTT or satellite. If the film ran well in the theatres, they got a good price for satellite and OTT, that was the bonus. Today it is absolutely the opposite. They first want to know how much money they will be able to make from OTT and satellite, and whether they will be able to cover their risk, and whatever comes from the theatre is their profit. So they have lost out over there, and before the COVID, there were so many small Hindi films which had actually started bringing back the audience to the theatres. Like there was a film called Sri, there was a film called Dream Girl, there was a film of Kangana Ranaut called Queen. All these films, when I remember well, they ran very well, even in Chennai city. And people were coming to watch those movies because they were all theatre going experiences. Suddenly, they all started making films which were neither for the theatre or I would say not for the OTT platform. And earlier days, music was the most important point as far as Hindi films are concerned. Shah Rukh Khan became very famous because of all his movies had great songs like Bazigar or DD.
But even Pathan had lovely songs. The songs worked big time for Pathan.
The songs worked big time, and maybe slowly, like Hindi films will find. I think that phase where to make a film for the OTT or the satellite is over, and now people are, the producers are thinking that only film theatre going experience is different, so they have now started, audiences have started coming back. That example, that Pathan is one example, and
Okay.
Rocky and Rani is one example.
Kunal, would you say that social media in northern India has played an important role with the memes and other things as far to popularize regional cinema?
I agree, and I totally completely agree to that. The reason is there is only ideally two ways how movies works or the opening is done. First is the star power, and second is the content. If any movie who has a star power will get a very good opening, but if the content is strong, then the movie will go long. We have multiple examples like Kantara, Charlie 777, or Hindi, for example, like a Kerala Story, or a Kashmir Files, Zara Hatke, and the list can, Rocketry, and the list can go on. Now, what is happening in Bollywood? There are a lot of people who have gone into two different lobbies. One is the lobby who's supporting a particular actor, and one is the lobby who's opposing. Because of social media, these opposing parties has become so bad critic that even if they can pick up a smallest of the fault of that particular movie and they could trend that movie is not good, that's the reason movie opens but it bumps, which is not the case in any of the regional language. It could be South, it could be Gujarati, it could be Marathi or Punjabi. All regional, these 6 languages ideally are doing really good, where the people love their actor, they see the positives in the film, not only the negative. But just to create some followers or things like that, there are a lot of people in Bollywood who have started to I hate this actor. They don't say I love this actor, but yes, I love them, but I hate him. So there will be a lot of negativity about a movie which is created. This could be one of the reasons why South movie gets a opening, and if the content is good, it works longer.
Saurabh, I have a question to you. Why is it that there are some very good South Indian films? For example, Poor Toil, which Mr. Mukesh has produced, it's a super hit here, theatrical hit. Why is it that such kind of films don't find outlet in the North Indian cinemas? I mean, smaller films with lesser known stars are not making the break at all. They are not even shown in any of the multiplexes. I mean, the dub version or even the original version. In Northern India, I mean.
So I'll only talk about non-South Indian markets where South Indian films are doing well. I think to make a film work, the belief has to spread into these regions. And again, like you pre-plan a film, you do a pre-production of 3 months or 4 months or 6 months. I think you need to pre-plan the distribution and marketing as well. I've always been saying this, that a good distribution is a result of good marketing. And for good marketing, you can't just wake up one day and say, okay, next week my film is releasing. Let's put 5 posters in Bombay, let's put 2 hoardings there, and let's do it. You need to do find a little method in the madness. The big filmmakers like Mr. Rajamouli, they plan it out. They strategize the release. Even if it's a small film, it's not the matter of money. You don't need to spend 10 crores to market it. All you need to do is, just like you do pre-production of a film, you need to find some method in the madness. One more thing to add on to this is that marketing has become a scam as well, where a lot of people prefer a media planning because it suits their interest, or there is a commission or things like that. But marketing is about touching the fan base, and when so much of audience is being added, there's so much you can do. And in fact, Kunal can vouch for it, that if you use cinemas as a medium to attract that audience, a lot can be done. But not many films are using that tool to market themselves.
Satadeep, how do you feel that the penetration of regional cinema is in Northern India at the grassroots level? That is, at the smaller multiplexes or at single screens. They say that they don't run in single screens. Is it true?
I don't think so. Because the acceptance of South Indian movies in North India has been extending day by day, means people are watching it. Otherwise, Kantara wouldn't be Kantara.
So, Kantara is an exception maybe, but it strike a chord. What you're saying is that content really plays a role more than the star system.
I think both. Even content-oriented movies are also doing good. Recently, I've released 2018 also.
Okay, yeah.
So it has done well in this film.
It's a purely content-driven.
Yes, it's a content-driven film. But the only thing is that we have released over there after 2 weeks. So I think it would have been better if it would have been released on the same day.
Okay.
So I would request all the producers of South India to release their movies on the same day in all the languages. So it will encourage us as exhibitors also to screen their movies in our theatre.
You always have a plan A, which is your own region, and the other regions become a plan B. You're thinking of, and obviously once the film does well, then you start thinking, oh, why don't I expand it? But most of the producers have seen the film, they know the potential of that thing, and if they believe in that film, they should just do a little more strategic things as well.
Kunal, is there a formula how to make a successful pan-India?
I'd like to just add what Satadeep said. Yes, content we all know is the king. But if there is a popular actor, it can give them a start, and from that start taking to a movie, end of the day content is required. But if the star power is there, it can give them around 20-25% of extra business, which films takes to get popular. We have seen these movies like how I said Kerala Story, Kashmir Files. Recently a Marathi movie released, Biper, which has done around 100 crores of number. But that movie ran for 4 weeks. I have not seen in last so many years, 4 weeks continuously, weekdays, weekends, all shows were full.
Okay, so would you say a film like Pushpa, its success is because it has the actor Allu Arjun and also the content was really on the...
Exactly, yes. So take an example, Bahubali, KGF. KGF did really, really well, or Pushpa did really, really well because of content as well as star power. If Pushpa would not have Allu Arjun and a new actor, would it have 300 crores? I don't think so. Maybe 250 crores? Yes. Because initially 4-5 days the fan following and the power of actors still is a big thing in India. It will attract a lot of customers. But end of the day, content will make the movie surviving on Monday or not is end of the day, it is content's job.
Okay.
I'd also like to add to this is that the reason an Allu Arjun film goes pan-India and it's celebrated is look at his digital reach. The moment he posts something or something about his is announced, and I'm just taking one example. It starts trending on Twitter, it starts going on the social media, and that's what the media in North India also picks up. So digital reach is also a lot of contributing factor.
Joyson, but what is happening to the regional market itself? In the sense that I tell you, here also you're saying extraordinary booking for Jailer, but there are also other films, very small films, I don't want to mention the names, where you normally the theaters here play it for a day and then they just remove it. What is the future of small Tamil films who are also trying to make a break into the big thing? Small Tamil, Kannada, Telugu and Malayalam films. Some gems are there. I don't want to mention names now, but these films are being pulled out unceremoniously after one day.
For this question, I like to give an example as Kantara. Kantara, they just did Kannada and Telugu. Nobody expected the movie will rise so high. Okay, so when it got picked up, the fourth day, I still believe when I was speaking to the producer, okay, it was dubbed in almost 4 languages. Okay, and they were rushing like anything to release the movie in between in the time of 2 weeks. I still believe it, even in Malayalam.
Okay. Mukesh, would you explain to me how can small films also become pan-India and get also an international market? I'm looking the US market right now. US market, or even you take Europe or you take Malaysia. The real big market for, once upon a time, the big market for Tamil cinema. But what is happening in these markets is that only the star-laden stuff is selling. What about the ordinary, even your poor world or whatever it is?
Sreedhar, for that, the producer first has to ensure that his film is dubbed and ready in all the languages which he wants to release. It is not necessary that he should release, but like as he rightly said, if 2018 was released even 1 week after its Kerala release, the business from rest of India would have been 100 crores. They lost out on that money because the film was not ready. They were not able to release the film. Yes. And unfortunately, when the film was ready, the multiplexes, I'm very sorry to say that, they refused to screen the film because they wanted a clause of an 8-week delayed OTT release. And with the same multiplexes, which made huge money in South India out of that film, but they simply refused to release the Hindi version, which is very, very wrong. Maybe they have a decision, they have a policy, but there should be exceptions. And the biggest losers were the audiences from North India who were not able to see the film, and also bringing in more people to see other South Indian films. That cause also was lost.
Very limited few number of people who come to cinemas and watch it, and obviously South is in case study in itself where, people watch 3.5 is what they're saying? Around 3.5?
No. The national average for seeing a film is something like 1.2, while Tamil Nadu and Andhra has the highest, it is around 3.5.
So if an average person in South watches a film 3.5 times, that's the kind of passion we have. But it's if the 100 people are watching it, 10,000 are watching the OTT content, and that is compelling them to come to cinema. So I think it's only going to add value.
I think theatre going visits have become more popular in South India than the rest of the country, because today South India has the best cinema houses in anywhere in India, I would say even in Asia. I've been around all these places, and recently I went to the Broadway cinemas in Coimbatore. So it's really state of art, and the kind of the ticket pricing is also comparatively low in Tamil Nadu when you compare it with other states. And even in US, if you look at it, US dollar, to make a ticket viable is $8 you need per ticket. Here nobody will pay $8 for a ticket, but still they are giving a good comfort level and other things. That's one of the reasons why people don't have any other form of entertainment other than cinema. So that's the reason why I think cinema is doing very well.
Absolutely agree. But I'd just like to add value that, somewhere down the line as an industry, we need to have a distance between a release of a cinema and an OTT release. Otherwise, the audience will start thinking that, it's going to come after 2 weeks since OTT, why should I go to the cinema? So that effort has to be concentrated, and everybody in the industry should think in the benefit of the movie.
Okay, I think we are running out of time. We like to throw the floor open to the audiences. Anybody has any questions?
What language marketing strategies we could have? But what language is it?
It's a Tollywood, but it's a great content. I had a few story consultants evaluated it, so it's going to be a wider spectrum. Like it could be dubbed into Hindi, Tamil, Kannada, and other languages. But mainly it would be a tolerance film.
Do you have a producer?
I'm going to produce it, but within 5 years. But the marketing,
Anybody would like to take that question? Mukesh, thank you.
So I'll just add to the whole thing. See, if you're making it for 5 years, make it for 4.5 years, put 550 into the marketing and marketing of it. And secondly, don't go by what people are doing. Don't try to make it a pan-India film. First, see who your audience is. You need to understand who you're making it for. Is it just mainstream? Is it families? Is it that particular region? So just understand who your audience is. Because nobody has any sense of story. Nobody knows nothing about. I've seen films where people have slept throughout the narrations and they've become super duper hits. So don't take too many advice in the story. Believe in your film, make it in controlled cost, and first release it in your region. And your region has its own rule, it has its own parameter. Everybody will try to give you gyan. Don't listen to that, but do what you think is right.
Actually, the timings which is provided for this kind of movies is very bad actually in many areas. It's more like first the poster release of movies, like something at afternoon 1:30 p.m., evening 3:20 p.m. That's all the timings given to this kind of movies. I mean, very good movies. Say Telugu movie Virupaksha, which has collected about 100 crores in Telugu industry, but it was released in Kerala after a week or two. But it was even the timings, and I mean the timings which I have mentioned, like evening 3:30 or something. So people who are planning to watch the movie will be preferring for a second show or evening show or something. So people who are interested to watch those movies are not getting a chance for this. So the release should be, the theaters also should make sure that people will be getting a chance to watch these kind of movies. And also one more thing I would like to add. If a person is having a personal amount of 6 or 7 lakhs, he can set up a home theater in his home actually. So the theaters should be bigger than the home theater. Nowadays, certain multiplexes are providing screens. And I think when Ponniyin Selvan 2 was released, there was a troll in Google. If you can search Google, Ponniyin Selvan 2 Rohini screen, it's like the first troll is, my school board is more bigger than the movie screen. That's the first show.
You take noon show or matinee, which I know will not collect as much as evening and night. Evening and night is always in any state, whether it's Karnataka, Kerala, or to the local regional language, because they have put forth saying that they want evening and night, because that's the highest where the footfalls are very high. So nobody can really do anything. But even when the regional films fail, I feel that Malayalam films in Chennai city and Bangalore are now being given evening and night shows. And there's a new show called Late Night Shows, which is there in Bangalore and in Kerala, where your Virupaksha, I think, was running a late night show that was at 11:30 in the night in Telugu. And there's a good crowd at Kochi. So you can't say that justified. Yes, it used to happen. If there are no shows available, they just dump whatever is possible.
And when that movie was released, 3 Malayalam movies was released, right?
Yeah.
So every state has their own norms.
Yeah, they have
The
their own priority and they will continue to do that. And at the end of the day, it's money that matters. Let me make it very clear. Box office is what matters.
I just want to add one thing. The trend has started. I released Virupaksha in West Bengal. I have also got the bad timings, but when the movie did well, they brought it into the evening shows. So it ran for 2-3 weeks again. So it was a delayed release, but then also it ran for another 3 weeks. So the trend has started.
Yeah.
I think for future.
I think there should be also a rethink, because a lot of people have complaints about noon show are not performing at all. You ask any theatre owner, they'll say noon show is the weakest show possible. And shows are getting cancelled left, right and center because there's nobody who comes for noon show. So you have a better slot, right? Say from 3 p.m. you are allowed to show up at 2 p.m. 2 a.m. in the morning. You put any number of shows, but you put what is selling. That is the best way out. I don't see anything, because like you said, everybody wants night and evening. Everybody, whoever is a producer here, they prefer a 180 seater because you are assured of a longer run. Nobody will even wants 350, 360 seaters. Screen very long.
Just to add your question, it's like any other business. If the screen is small and people don't like it, they'll not go to that cinema. They'll go to other cinema where there's a bigger screen. So it's a business model. If it doesn't work, cinemas are not going to make smaller screens. So it's the audience which is going to decide.